Thank you for tuning in to Spiritual Debriefing, a podcast about Christians living a Christian life in a very un-Christian world. We're back after a small break. Tonight we talk about what God's been doing in our lives and God's plan as we move forward.
Welcome to Spiritual Debriefing. I am Daniel Meadows.
And I am Randy.
Hi, Randy.
Hello, Daniel and Randy.
I'm Jed.
Hey, Jed.
Jed. I'm Derek.
Hi, Derek.
Derek,
Hi.
Yeah, whatever.
Hey.
I know.
And then, of course, Ray. I'm over here behind all the electronic equipment, pretending like I know what I'm doing. So,
Pushing buttons,
yep, pushing buttons.
turning
And-
knobs.
Well, I probably won't turn any knobs today.
Okay.
But I'll push
Unplugging
buttons.
cords.
But I will push buttons.
He
I will
push
push buttons. You better believe it.
Very glad to see.
Yeah, I'm glad we're back.
I am
It's
too.
been a
Yes,
while.
It's been a while. There's been a lot going on in several of our lives, and so quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Jed, do you want to go into any of it, or Derek, or
Well, we've missed the last, what's it been, 3 weeks? 2 weeks? I don't know.
Yeah, it'll be about.
It's been a while.
Yeah, I think it'll be 4 or 5 since we last posted one by the time this gets out.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it'll be at least 4 weeks.
And I think, when we all got together and we wanted to start this podcast, we said we wanted to, have fun, not have it like a job. And there are going to be things that come in life that we won't be able to record, right? Mm-hmm. And we've had those things happen in our lives. And, last time that we recorded, I believe that, we were talking to you, Jed, about losing Hillary. And, and then it was now your mom.
Yep, a month to the day.
Now your mom passed
and my
away.
mom passed away. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of, it was a sudden deal. It was just a week, but ended up having some cancer, and it just spread everywhere. She went in the hospital on a Saturday and walked in just in pain, and, well, what was it? It was Wednesday morning you went over with me?
I believe it was Thursday morning.
It was Thursday morning?
I believe it was Thursday
Okay.
morning, yeah.
Well, by Wednesday, she couldn't even get out of bed. She made it out of bed around the bed. By Thursday, she couldn't do nothing, and she was gone by Friday afternoon at, I think it was 5:33.
Wow.
Right after Haley won the state softball championship,
Uh-huh.
because we was watching it in the hospice room. I got up and I said, "Mom, they won," and brushed her hair back on her head, and she took her last breath. Just right there.
But she knew the Lord.
Oh, yeah, she knew the Lord.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
She had the faith. She'd been saved as a young one, and
And kept that faith.
and kept it.
For
Yeah,
a very long time, because she was how old? 70,
she was 77.
77 when she
Yep,
passed,
77.
yeah. And then it just seems like over there, Jed, it's raining, man. It's pouring. It's just...
It's been a lot.
It's been a lot.
It's been a lot.
And that's why, we've dealt with that. Pretty much 3 deaths, right?
3 deaths.
Your ex-wife and Hillary, and
Yep.
now your mom.
And my mom.
And then, we've had graduations.
Graduations.
Because now
Yeah.
Haley graduated high school. My daughter graduated
Autumn.
high school,
Yep.
autumn. And so we had to deal with that in between, right? It's like a lot. We've had a lot going on there. And that's why we haven't been here recording recently. And now we're back, and hopefully we're get back in a routine of things.
Routine of things.
Hopefully,
Yeah.
Lord willing.
Lord willing, yes, Lord willing.
Well, he's going to tell us if we can get back here.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, and last week Derek, you was headed up to Iowa,
Iowa,
right?
yeah, dropped Autumn off.
Yeah.
At the Village Creek Bible Camp.
He
That was
took
a
it
smart
literally.
move.
He said,
Not
"You
letting her take
graduate,
her own
you're
truck
gone."
so she can't drive around.
She has her own truck.
Oh, she did? Oh, I think you dropped her off.
So here's the thing, is that she was able to bring her horse up there.
Yeah.
Because she's going to be up there all summer as a wrangler. And so she wanted to bring her horse. They said, yeah, bring your horse, la la. And she has a new horse trailer, the horse, and her truck. But around here, she's been driving around the horse trailer, you know, the play dates, that's local. Doesn't have to get on the highway, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, you can't drive up there all by yourself. Like, I'm not letting you do that. So Crystal and Wyatt drove my truck behind, you know, us. I was switching back and forth with Autumn, driving the horse, and, you know, they're driving the truck with the trailer. And she did a great job. I mean, it was awesome. I mean, it took us 13 hours. You know, I think max speed was 70, you know, but
You made stops.
we
right?
made stops. I told her, you know, take it easy. Just, hey, we get there. Right. I mean, every time I've towed a trailer, and I've told this many times, is I go about 65, 70. That's what I do when I pull a trailer, a big one, at least, you know, something. And so that's what she did. And she did a great job. We went up there. We had to stop a few times, let the horse out, do this. I got to stop at a buddy's house in Kansas City. And got to see his house for the first time. But, you know, then we walked the horse in his yard and, you know, stuff like that. But, you know, she got dropped off there. But she has her truck, her trailer, her horse is up there. So,
All right.
and then, well, right before we got there, I says, well, you know, I'll be back when you are done with camp, you know. And she goes, well, Dad, I know how to do it now by myself. And I'm like, that's still a long haul. You know, it's something, if anything happens, you know, but
Yeah.
but it was funny. We had a great conversation going up there, you know, because as a parent, we don't want to let go of kids.
No.
We don't. I mean, we get back on this kid topic all the time, but this is what we're all going through in our lives right now.
Every day.
Every day. And even when kids are growing or not growing, you know, whatever. So, you know, it was hard for me and her mom to go, I know you're going to be at a church camp for the next 2 months, but she's never really been away from home. And you're 600 and something miles away. And we had a great conversation going up there, and she kept telling me, she goes, God's calling me to come up here. He's calling me. Because he goes, she said that if she knew about this job later in the year, she goes, I wouldn't have done it. Because we had, you know, we have the arena play dates, then Siloam's doing their play dates, and she has a lot of friends over there. And so she goes, I would have been home for the summer just going to play dates after play dates and doing that.
Right.
And
Which
she
would have been
goes,
fun, but wouldn't have done nothing for the Lord.
Right. And so that's what she said was, you know, God's calling me. He did this at the perfect timing, and I have to do this. And I'm like, well, I can't fight God, you know? No. And we hear this message all the time. We hear, you know, kids who want to be missionaries, or they want to go in the mission field, or they want to go to a different state and preach, but then they're like, well, I don't want to leave my family behind. You know, well, mom and dad are here. They need me, or they need this. Well, for us as parents, you know, God's in control, and God's going to take care of my daughter better than I can. And so, I mean, it was a relief that she said, hey, this was God's calling. God's calling me to do this, not just going, this is what I want to do, and I just want to get away from you, you know?
Right.
But, and the worst part right now is that it's spotty service for cell phone. Mm-hmm. And so, like, the first night, we didn't even hear from her. And we're like, come on, man. You know?
Just a text.
Yeah,
something.
just a text saying you're okay. But she texts back and forth here and there. She goes, you know, I can't say it's a struggle, but it's just kind of settling in, you know, because now you're away from all the comforts of home, the comfort of your parents, and they're up at 7:00 in the morning and go all the way till like 9:00 at night. Mm-hmm. And I think one time she called us and says, Dad, I have to get 2 messages done before tomorrow, and it's already 9:30 at night. And I'm like, hey, it's going to be just like college.
Yep.
But, so it's trying to get used to all that. You know, it looks like a good camp, good people there. You know, they have kids from all over, you know, different states that are in there. Some people have been there for many, many years. Some people this is their first or second time, you know, working on the staff. But I think it's going to be good once she gets all settled in, and once the campers get in there, because like this first week has all been staff training, and I can see pictures of like staff building, or not staff building, but team building. events and, stuff like that. And kind of get all that. I think once the students come in and the campers, that it's just going to fly by and they're just going to go. Brrr,
Oh, yeah.
And then
that should start, next week?
it's Monday.
Right. Monday.
Yeah. Yep. That's their first thing at campers.
So
And I guess this year, the first time they're ever doing this is they're actually going to have a men's cowboy ministry event.
Really?
There for, I don't remember, I want to say it was like 3 or 4 days. And so I'm like, well, that's going to be cool.
That'll be sweet.
Yeah, because they have over 25 horses there.
All right.
And she's struggling with her horse too, because our horse is usually the bully in her little herd here.
Yep.
And she gets there and they have over 25 horses and now she's not the bully.
She's not the bully.
And she's getting beat up, But hopefully that all works out good because they got to find the alpha horse.
Yeah.
Yep.
The alpha horse takes over.
Pecking order works out.
It does with horses. But no, I think it's going to be good for her,
Good.
But that's where we're at too, up to Iowa. And yeah, that's where I was at.
Did you eat any good food up there?
Well, you know what? We had a good breakfast.
Yeah.
You had camp breakfast.
Oh, nice. At camp?
At
Nice.
camp, because when we drove up there Thursday, they let us stay in a bunkhouse that night, and then we left the next day. But they were like, "Oh yeah, come eat breakfast is at 8:00 in the morning. Just be down here." And they had a little. What are they? What I told you, Daniel, what that men's group was? Mighty Men.
Oh yeah, the
Was that
Mighty
what?
Men.
Yeah, they had a Mighty Men's
Yeah,
little
Mighty
conference there
Men's
that weekend.
conference.
And they're like, well, let these guys go first, and then we go last to eat. We're like, I'm just happy to get a meal, man. This is camp food. This is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. All
Camp
right.
food. I love camp food.
I
Oh,
do
yeah.
too. I do
Oh,
too.
yeah.
Favorite part of summer, camp food.
Yep. I love camp. I grew up going to camp,
Yeah.
and in Arizona, we went to northern Arizona, so you got the big pine trees, the cooler weather, and it's just awesome. Just good memories and.
Yeah.
And she's like, Dad, I'm going to chapel twice a day now, going to the chapel there. And so I think this is going to really get her relationship with God a lot closer.
Yeah.
And it's going to be great to build this foundation even stronger before she goes to college in the fall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
For sure.
So I think it's all a good move. Us as parents just have to kind of God can have control over that and be like,
Yeah.
it's all in your hands, man.
Yep. And it's different than it was in the Bible because, in the Bible, you handed off your child, your daughter, straight to a husband. There was no worrying about her out in the world on her own. It was like, no, you stay here until there's a husband and then you go straight there.
Right.
Yeah.
There's not this,
In between.
in between time that we now deal with in a way. And I'm not saying it's good or bad. We can discuss that if we want.
Right,
But
right.
that's just saying it's totally different. And we have to navigate that,
Yeah. Yep.
So, how's Wyatt handling the
Oh, he
change?
loves it, man. He's like, Dad, let's do this. Let's have airsoft wars. Let's do that. And he's already sleeping in her bed, Oh, this bed's so much nicer than mine.
He told me he was going to wait until she got back and went to college before that happened.
No, he moved right in.
Moved right in.
So this
The
is
day
not her
they got
room
back,
anymore.
Yeah. Well, he hasn't changed it yet, but he just sleeps in there. But yeah,
Whatever.
no, he loves the attention. He's the attention hog, but he loves it. There's a lot of, you get that sibling rivalry going on and, the battles and, deep down inside, he misses her, just like all of us do. But you kind of look at it and just, okay, a couple months, and then she'd be back for a few weeks and go off to college. But,
Yeah.
and then, that's coming up for you too.
Yeah.
Jed, because Haley.
Yep.
Okay, so she's going to college too
She's
in the
going
fall.
to college too in the fall.
Where is she going?
Connor State,
Where's that at?
Warner, Oklahoma.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, so that's not too far,
No,
right?
not too
Yeah.
far. She was going to Iowa, just almost the same place Autumn's at right now. But I don't know. She had a really good scholarship to go up there, but she kind of changed her mind to stay closer to home. So
How long of a drive is that to Corner State?
about 2 hours.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's not bad at all.
No.
And then Autumn's going to NEO.
Hour and 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30? I don't know. I know you could do it in like 35 minutes.
32 minutes.
32.
But it's really about an hour and 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Supposed to be.
Yeah. I mean,
The conditions were just right.
Right.
Yeah.
Jet knows a shortcut.
Yeah.
That's what we're
Yeah.
talking about.
And that's in the farm truck.
Yeah.
Well, it was actually in my 71 Chevy.
Man, that thing made it?
Oh, yeah.
Why wouldn't it? Oh. Speaking of that, we need to get that fixed, Jetty. It don't look good in the field.
Oh, that's not the same one.
Oh, okay.
But we need to get that one fixed, too.
But the girls will be, far enough where they have their independence, but close enough where if they need something, we can be there.
We can be there.
Yeah.
Good.
Which is good too.
Yeah. I kind of like that idea. I didn't push for it.
Right.
I let her make her own decision.
Yep. Yeah, because we had that struggle. We had that discussion here prior. Was how things change, right? And dreams change, mind changes, stuff like that. We were all dead set to go to U of A, and everything was all scheduled, and dorms were paid for, and then all of a sudden, this is where I'm going, Dad. What? Where's that? What school is that?
She went back to the great state.
Yeah. But
It's all right. I graduated from there.
Yeah. Well, and that's why I was like, I'm just trying.
We heard your stories.
Yeah.
So it's a
You met my
decent school
roommate.
But and the same thing too. She got a scholarship on the horse judging team, and I guess that's a good coach. Him, and he's a good guy.
He's a good guy.
And that's what she wants to do. And if that's where she's getting led to do and go,
Yeah.
hey, that's what I struggle with a lot too. Is as most of you guys know, I get dead set on something, and I'm like, oh, there's no change. I got to do it. I got to get there. And and when change happens, it happens.
I'm starting to see a little more change in you than
Yeah. What is it? What do you say? What's one step at a time?
yeah. Step by step.
Yeah.
Step by step.
Step by step.
Adapt and overcome.
Yep. So those are the most current events that we've had to deal with in the last few weeks.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it kept you guys real busy.
it was.
did.
It was. I mean, and everything getting ready for funerals and getting ready for graduation parties and
We never even got a graduation party done.
right.
But we still got a little bit more to go. She's got her 4-H stuff coming up. She's got to go to Little Rock for some award ceremonies, and she's going to Atlanta too. So
Wow.
this June's still going to be kind
So
of
y'all
packed
got
for us.
y'all got to pack June.
Yeah, we got to pack June.
So
too.
you're packed again.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just don't need no more on top of it.
No.
I miss
Yeah.
you already, Jetty.
I mean, we do got to be maybe throw this out there where the girls we're very proud of both of them.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they've had some awards, and they got awards and scholarships,
And all.
and Autumn graduated with all her little honors and stuff like that. And I don't know, Haley got state champion in softball. Mm-hmm. A lot of scholarships.
A lot of scholarships. I
And
think she
then-
got 6 or 7 of those.
And she got awards too, didn't she?
Yeah, she got some awards.
Yeah, she
too.
got some awards,
Yep.
and I don't think that you could find any prouder parents sitting right here. Is that we were super proud of them, and they just did a great job.
Yeah.
So I had to throw that out there, and
Yeah.
just they did it. It was awesome.
Lord's blessed us with good kids.
Yeah,
Really have.
Mm-hmm.
Well, somebody raised them up right. I don't know who it was, but
it was the wives.
that's what the Bible says they're supposed to do.
Right. Derek says so good, I had to kick her out 3 days later.
Yeah,
You also had Adrian graduate with you guys there. So
yeah, Adrian.
Yep.
Adrian graduated.
And
Yeah.
she got some scholarships too,
Yep.
and because it was at scholarship night. It was funny because all 3 of us were sitting there.
Yep.
Cheryl from Adrian's mom, and then us 2 sitting there, and we're like, man. That's why I told Cheryl. I went over and I says, well, we did something right, didn't we?
Yep.
So but that was cool.
I told you the other day, I said, I got 2 years. I'm not ready for this.
You can never prepare for it.
Nah, just sit back and enjoy it. That's all you can do.
I agree with that, but I'm like, As much mouthing as we do saying get out of our house, it's like, I don't know about this now.
Yeah, I'm already like planning to build a tiny house on the property. And Autumn, you're not going nowhere.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Ray, how many years you got?
10.
Yeah.
Actually, no, at the rate that Harmony's going, I don't know. She could be done early. We'll see. Because, again, it's all homeschool stuff. So
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
she's ahead in some stuff, behind in some other stuff, and it seems to switch places. I don't know. But she's doing good.
Yeah.
She's doing pretty good. So she had taken some breaks. You know, it's nice about homeschool is you can take a break whenever you want, right? So Grandma will come down and stay with us for a couple of weeks, and she could just take time off school for that couple of weeks, or, you know. And we're kind of, because we moved last year in the middle of the school year, and that was like 2 months off. She kind of had a off summer. And this year too, Wendy's kind of like, I'm not going to back her off of everything, because also, if, you know, all she's going to do then is just watch TV and play video games all summer too anyway.
Right.
So she's keeping her on studying the Bible, you know, and that's one of her subjects that they study, which is really cool to see every day. Harmony's learned a ton from that, you know, but she kind of is looking around because all the other kids are talking about school's getting out. This is my last day of school and summer's starting. And she's kind of like, when do I get summer? It's like, well, you know, you had the break here, you had a break there, and we'll have a break when we do something. But it's like, it's not the same when you homeschool. And she's not upset about it. She's just asking questions. So, and at any point in the day, you know, if the girl next door who's like 2 years younger than her happens to be, you know, hey, we're going to go out and play in the pool. Can Harmony come? And we can just be like, yep, right. Stop your schoolwork, go play.
Yeah.
And then come back and do your schoolwork later. You know, let her outside when the sun's up so she can play, and then she can work on some more schoolwork stuff before dinner or after dinner even. So it is really nice to have that flexibility.
Imagine.
The other day, we actually went and did a couple volunteer events. She went to the cemetery in Gentry, put flags on all the graves for all the
that's cool.
service members there. Yeah. Helped out, so that was kind of fun. Because we were having her and another girl who's a little younger than her too. They were you know, reading all the headstones, looking for the listing, whether they were in, you know, the Army or the Navy or whatever it was. So they were hunting them down and putting the flags in. She can go again tomorrow and collect them again if we want some more service hours. So that's for her American Heritage Girls stuff. And then she did a volunteer event too. In the middle of a day on a Friday, we just went over to Gentry was opening up their splash pad, and they had Pause for something. I can't remember that. I wish I should remember the name, but it's a nonprofit out there that helps with, you know, with pet adoptions and stuff like that. So they were selling sodas by the splash pad, and so we just sat there under a tent, and Harmony walked little dogs around and told people we were selling sodas and had a good day.
Yeah, she probably enjoyed that. Huh?
Yeah. And again, in the middle of a Friday, I'd be like, yeah, we're going to go do this and come back. And again, with my work too, I can just start early and then work a little bit later too. Cause you know, there's things I have to do during the day when everybody else is there, but there's a whole bunch of stuff that I can do kind of whenever. So, you know, if I'm like, you know what, I'm going to cut out early today, I can get up and start work at 6 a.m. and then leave 2 hours early. Leave 3 hours early.
That's
so
cool. Yep.
I can see Harmony over there going, if you want your dog back, buy some sodas.
Right. Or I'm taking the dog home.
I'm believing she wanted to take some home. Yes, I'm like, we're still in a rental, and the landlord already gave us an extra pet. I don't think they're going to go for one more. I really don't. So,
just don't buy property because your daughter brings home, like my daughter brings home pets randomly.
Yep.
Derek has a cat.
I got 2 cats now.
2 cats.
Wow.
And a dog.
2 cats and a dog. 2 dogs.
2 dogs, 2 cats. 3 horses.
3 horses.
Well, you're down to 2 now. She took one of them with
That's
her.
right.
Least,
So 2, 2, 2.
Yeah. 2, 2, 2. Yep.
Yeah.
No
And
chick-
Wyatt's already talking about getting more goats.
no, oh, is he? But no chickens.
No chickens.
You got to get some chickens when she returns.
But
Have
fish.
them there when she returns.
Oh, you know what's cool about the camp? We went through, so they have this awesome tack room, right? I mean, there's like 75 saddles and
They have
beautiful.
chickens.
Yeah, they have chickens. And they're running all over. And Autumn's like looking at it like, I got to be nice. This is the first day. And me and Wyatt looked at each other and goes, she's going to kick those chickens. She's going to kick those chickens.
Be nice to my chicken.
Yep. Yep. She don't like chickens, man.
She's tenderizing you.
I'll tenderize it. All right.
Well, they had baby goats there, and that's why Wyatt's like, Dad, I don't want goats again.
They're only babies for a little bit.
I know. But
Yeah,
they're
but
great
when you-
weed eaters, man.
When you get the goats they had, they stay little. So
Yeah.
you're good.
Yep.
Till they eat way too much hay and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Get really big.
Yeah, we want to get some of those miniature cows You know, the small, because they don't give you too much milk. You can actually probably use it.
Yeah.
But those things are nice. I actually saw them for real the other day. There's a guy over in Pea Ridge who's got like 6 or 7 of them. Same type idea. It's like we didn't want to have to, get 8, 9, 10 gallons of milk per cow per day.
Right.
Try to figure out what to do with that. So he got these guys. He even got the miniature bull to go along with him too. So I was like, it's like a half-size cow.
I know, it's cool. They're so cool. Yeah.
Taylor wants a mini cow. Mm-hmm. You think I could have it in Bella Vista?
No, you could try.
Yeah, let's do it.
Just call it a dog. It's like, that's not a cow. That's a dog. What are you talking about?
I love that dog.
Pigs.
I mean, yeah.
Like, that's a Bernese mountain
my,
dog. I don't know what you're saying.
It's my emotional support cow.
Right.
Oh, that was another joke from that comedian last night. He was sitting there. He goes, I was visiting my parents' church. And he goes, I was trying to keep my mouth shut. But even my mom knows. And she's like, you going to make fun of that over there? You're going to make fun? She's like, Mom, you can't be doing this. Because there's this lady sitting there with her emotional support dog in church. And she's singing, all I need is the Lord. And it's like, apparently not.
That's a good one.
I love a
I gotta watch
sports mom.
that. I gotta watch it.
Yeah. John Christ. He is funny. Yeah. I think it was on Netflix. It was hilarious.
He is. Yeah.
Yeah. So, pets.
But I think we're back, boys. So we're back.
Yeah.
We get back in the swing of things on Sunday night Bible studies too, and
Yeah. We're going to be doing I think we're going to do a study of the books of the Bible that talk about what it means to be, what you should be as a man. What are we supposed to be doing?
it's a lot.
There's a lot.
It's a lot.
It'll take us a while.
Work.
We're gonna go through it. Go through it. Proverbs. We'll have to go through Proverbs. There's a lot of good Proverbs in there.
Yeah.
There's got to be some naps in there sometime, right? No.
Yeah. Well, we're doing barbecue. That's what we're gonna start
That's
off
lamentations.
with. Lamentations.
Hey, I got that smoker working now. Nice. I smoked a rack of ribs, and Jetty was able to come taste them.
Tip top.
Nice.
So that's.
I did that too on Monday. I smoked some ribs, did some
I did
burnt
too.
ends.
Oh, burn ends.
Well, poor man's burnt ends. I
okay.
just did pork belly, and you do it like burnt ends, but
Oh.
so it was, whatever. It worked. It was good.
It wasn't a brisket burn end.
No.
Oh, okay.
No. I didn't do a whole brisket. That's I don't have the fancy smoker. I've got just the side charcoal smoker. So like I have to set a timer for every 20 minutes to go check it and be like, okay, temperature's good. Got to add more coals. Got to change the vents. So, it's okay.
It's awesome because it's funny because I got that smoker working right. It's a pellet smoker and it's all digital, so it's just set it and walk away. Yep. But we're sitting there because I used to do the old school smokers. Mm-hmm. And I made fun of the pellet guys all the time. I'm like, oh, that's just cheating. You guys aren't like manning the fire. Then I went to a pellet smoker and I'm like, oh yeah, this is awesome. It's funny. I want to go back.
Yeah.
I want to go back to the old school.
Because you want to do
I
something.
I want to be doing work. And then like, I can't maintain the amount of smoke in a pellet.
Right.
I want to give it a little more smoke. Well, the lowest I can go is 150 and whatever it puffs out, that's all I get.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, see, I could soak the wood for, overnight. I could bring it more smoke. I could give it more, heat. So I kind of want to go back to that. So
it is kind of fun.
It
is kind of nice.
I've got an electric smoker, but it takes wood chunks.
Mm-hmm.
So I still have to go back and forth and
Load
add
it up.
more wood and add more water. And, so it's kind of nice because now I can set the temperature to be at this level, but I still man the smoker too. So it's the best of both worlds.
Yeah. Yeah. I just can't wait to get done. Like we were talking when we were out there smoking. I'm like, I'm building an outdoor kitchen and I want like a multitude of different grills. Like I got the Blackstone, I got the smoker. I want an old school smoker. And then I want the cowboy grill. I want to build this big, big old wheel, I'm like, we're out there in the country now. So I'm like, I have a plethora of wood.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I just use that now.
You're going to have to build another little couch swing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. More grills you have, you're going to have to like double in couch swings.
Right. Right.
We got to watch you.
I know.
We had fun on that couch swing the other night.
Oh, yeah.
She just a swinging?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, why?
Well, no, we weren't just a swinging.
No.
We had a little more fun.
So Wyatt's really into airsoft guns now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those things are awesome.
Oh, yeah.
I can't believe how realistic they are now.
Oh, they've gotten insane.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean...
I'm surprised more kids aren't getting shot. I don't know how it's happening.
He got a Glock airsoft gun that looks just like the Glocks that I have and I've carried for years.
Yep.
And he has a gas one. The slide charges back.
They even gave it weight. They gave it more weight than it needs to be, too.
It feels, the slide's metal. It feels like a real Glock. And
it's not the plastic airsoft that we used to
play.
No. And these things hurt.
Yeah.
Like I played with him today. And he tagged me a couple times. And I'm like, those things hurt. But that's what we were doing, though. We're sitting on the swing, shooting pop cans. And then, we're like, well, we're kind of on a kick of not eating pop or drinking pop no more. So let's just shake some of these up and shoot those.
Yeah.
Nice.
Did you get that video of the water gun I sent you?
Mm-hmm.
I want one of those.
Cool.
The new electric one that's like...
Yeah.
Those look pretty cool. They're only like $40 too, I think.
Yeah,
They're not
that
crazy
was,
expensive, but...
Those airsoft guns are expensive.
Oh, yeah.
You buy a real gun for one of them.
I was looking at getting one of those for Harmony to try to like teach her more about using guns.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But then I was like, that's okay. I will, but not today.
Yeah, because it really does. I mean, it is. You can use that for a training purpose.
Yeah. It has all the motion, has all the parts,
boys.
all the pieces.
Everything. And it was, we were shooting it, and this is like, remember, it's that front sight, clear picture, consistent press on the trigger, just all that. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'm like, well, this is cool. So we're into that. That's what we're doing, sitting on the porch swing, shooting stuff.
We got to get the guys, men's group together and go do one of those like airsoft events.
I was looking them up.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're gonna do one.
The airsoft.
At Modern Mission.
I was going to say, is it Modern Mission?
Yep.
I've seen some of them. I haven't done one yet, but I've seen them, and man, they look like a ton of fun.
We're gonna do it.
They look like a ton.
Yeah,
of
we're
fun.
gonna do it.
We enjoyed the laser tag while we was there. We need to go back for the paintball and all the other
Airsoft,
stuff.
yep.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that'd be pretty fun.
So that's good that the car show didn't happen yet, because I was like, well, Randy, this is all you got for your budget. The rest is going to Airsoft Wars.
We'll go in the hole for next year.
Yeah. Sorry, you're getting plastic trophies.
I already bought those. I forgot to give you the receipt.
Oh, dang it.
By the way, you can donate to the men's ministry at First Baptist Church.
Right. Yes. Yeah.
Car shows and guns.
Right.
Yeah,
America.
America.
Cars, guns, and food.
Well, that's why, that's why I love where I live. I love it.
Yep. When we first moved here, a bunch of people kept asking, why did you move here? Depending on the person I was talking to. But if it was somebody I trusted, I was like, oh, gods and guns. God and guns, man. Mm-hmm. Moved to a land where people respect the Lord and where I can have a firearm.
The freedom of, yep. Shooting.
Yep. Those were two things on the list that crossed off a bunch of places. So that's just saying.
And places like where we're at, we just right on the back porch.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. You don't want to go back to Minnesota? They don't do that up there?
No.
Oh.
No, not the same anyway. Not the same. It's all right.
Not in the
there.
winter.
Nope. But yeah, definitely out in the winter. Yeah, I wanted to get Harmony even just a BB gun, but our yard's even too small for that where we're at. Their houses are too close and all that noise. I'm certain she'd probably end up shooting out the neighbor's window. So, I can barely throw the dog a tennis ball and I'm hitting houses every direction I throw the darn thing. They're so packed in
kids
there.
will be kids.
Yep. Well, it used to be okay back in the day. I mean, I remember throwing a BB gun on my shoulder and biking down the road to head to the park.
Not no more.
Yeah. Heck no. I mean, as you were talking about with, sending Autumn to Iowa and, letting her out. I remember, I couldn't have been older than 17. And I flew to Atlanta, Georgia with another buddy from high school to pick up a car and drive it back to Minnesota with no adults. Mm-hmm. Like, 17-year-old, fly to Atlanta on our own to get a car. Now, from a family relative. Like, it wasn't like we were picking it up off Craigslist or something crazy. But yeah, we flew into Atlanta and drove all the way home to Minnesota at like 17.
Yeah, that's funny you bring that up because we had the same discussion. I think it was last night or the night before. Me and Crystal were just sitting there. And we're talking about Autumn. And I says, what's amazing is that right out of high school for me, I went to Las Vegas, and worked the pipeline. Right out of high school. And my parents let me drive to Vegas. And I came back like probably every other weekend or something. But along that road, it's dangerous. Mm-hmm. I'm like, I don't know why they do that. I'm like, I don't know if I could do that now. But I think that's what, made us grow. Made us.
There's a line. There's a line that I think we are a little overprotective.
I think so.
But I also think it is a little bit more dangerous too.
Yeah.
There seems to be it probably linked directly to the lack of faith in this world, but there seems to be a lack of care for life.
Right.
There's for your own life, for other people's lives. And if you don't value your own life, you don't probably value other people's lives very highly either, in my opinion. And I'm not saying for everybody, don't blanket the statement, but it's just the wanton disrespect and care. That part does seem to be getting worse.
Right.
People just don't care. You do have to be a little more cautious. Again, we've said it, and we'll probably say it 10 more times, that, we were from the era of go outside, don't come home till the sun goes down, and they didn't ask where you were going. They didn't care. They didn't have
Life 360 on our cell phones.
Nope, not at all.
We didn't have cell phones.
If you want to drink, there's a water hose over there. Leave us alone. Don't come in.
They're like, our address, your phone number. If you end up somewhere, call us. Otherwise, be home when the sun goes down.
And all the neighbors knew our parents.
Oh,
That's true.
They knew our parents.
If you got hungry, you rode back home on your bike, and your mom opened the window and gave you a PB&J and closed it and sent you back.
Us in Arizona were orange trees. When we got hungry during the summertime,
they
all had orange trees.
They're like, just take oranges.
We were just eating oranges left and right. Yeah. Then we got in trouble because we left all the peelings on the sidewalks or neighbors' yards, but yeah, that's how we ate during the summer.
Yeah,
some people's kids.
And we went to pool.
Right.
Everybody had a pool but us. But
you do that nowadays, and again, you could end up with Child Protective Services at your house.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. You couldn't even do it if you wanted to.
We'd ride down, go play in the creek for hours on end.
Yep. Yeah, we lived up. It was weird. I sometimes reflect back on it and just wonder how that all happened. But, we lived in a place where less than 2 blocks away was a giant abandoned farmhouse in the woods that all the kids played in, and all the windows were smashed, and, graffiti on all the walls. And when I was 7 and 8 and 9, it was a haunted house, and we were all scared and all this. And then we got to be 12, 11, 13, then we were in there breaking stuff and smashing things and talking about hoodlums, doing hoodlum stuff. My hood rat friends. But that type of stuff, I don't know. I don't think kids get to experience all that the same way. We lived near this big ravine and creek and big park, and we could just bike down and go down there and climb and swing. There was rope swings set over the park and over the stream. You could jump in and swim in it, and just all this. Idyllic is sadly to say what it is. It just doesn't. I don't know if it exists like that anymore.
No,
kids get in the stream now, and they're gonna come out with a funky rash on them. What's going on, man?
And then if they have any Arizona listeners, they know when you got brought up in the 90s, you rode your bikes along the canals.
Yeah, and
those canals could take you anywhere in town. I mean, it was amazing. And you just rode your bike along a canal. And then, some of them were dry, and some of them had, just waters that you get caught in there, you're probably not coming out. Yeah. But that's what we did. 10-year-old, and 13 riding bicycles along a canal that you could easily fall into and get swept away.
Right.
But we were going to miles and miles and miles down the road.
And it's amazing, though, back then you could ride for hours and miles. And if you got lost, you somehow found your way back home.
Yeah.
Now you go 2 hours down the road and you got to pull out your GPS to make sure you know how to get there.
Right.
Where am I?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yep. Or even getting lost. We did get lost in the woods a couple times. We're like, I don't know where the heck we are. We come out in a neighborhood. I've never seen this neighborhood before, but there's houses at least. Let's start walking.
Yeah.
Do you know my mom?
Yeah, right.
Where's
Vernon Avenue
right now?
Oh, yeah.
And do you know where I live? No.
Right.
There's actually been a couple of times we've been driving through because, some of the days when Wendy's not, feeling not good enough to do much of anything, she's like, can you just take me on a drive? Because at least you can just sit in the car and we can drive around. And so Bella Vista is great for that because you can just start driving.
You just start anywhere.
You just start driving around. You're like, I have no idea where I am. I don't know where I'm going. Maybe we've been by this street. I'm like, I think Daniel lives around here. This looks familiar.
You go to the east side.
And then eventually you pop out onto like a county road and there's farms. You're like, oh, we're now out of Bella Vista.
Well, that's like to get to my house, you got 5 different ways to get there, and you'll get lost every one.
Oh, yeah.
We know. We know.
We've been 5 different ways.
Yes. 5 different ways.
I think we had 5 different trips that one night.
Yeah, we did. We went a different way there and back and there and back.
And that's why we don't hang out at my house anymore.
Right. Right.
We don't even think about where Daniel lives.
That's what I wanted too.
I need help. Sorry, we don't know how to get there.
Yeah, I can't find you.
One of the biggest cul-de-sacs known to man.
Yeah.
This goes like this.
So true. So true. But, man, we've been looking at it. It's like the only place you can afford a house right now. Everything else is crazy.
Bella Vista?
Yeah, Bella Vista is the only place where it's like manageable.
Manageable,
like,
yeah.
It's not cheap, but at least but you don't get, you don't have big yards and all that type of stuff. But
No, but then you got all
The rules and
the
stuff.
rules.
I know.
But there are houses in Bella Vista that are not linked to the POA.
Mm-hmm. Well, they're on the outskirts.
They're on
right?
the outskirts.
Yeah. Yep.
And I missed it by 2 streets. Like if
So
you go
close.
if you go up and to the right 2 more go up or no, down 2 streets and to the right back towards P Ridge, all those houses along that street, they're not on POA.
That's why there's more houses.
Right.
I
Right.
missed it.
Yeah.
That's why there's no for sale signs there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Leave me alone.
But they do have great amenities. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
That's why I
Oh,
tell my
yeah.
father-in-law all the time because he complains about that, and I'm like, yeah, but you have like 7 lakes there, and how many golf courses, and all the different things that you could do.
7 golf courses.
7.
Yeah, but all right. Yeah, 7. 5 of them are 18 hole, 2 or 9 hole. Still got to pay $50 to play.
Yeah.
On top of having your $30 activity card that you pay once a year and
Yeah.
your $40 monthly POA fee.
I know you're complaining, but let me just give you a little information.
I'm doing it with a smile.
Because I have the same argument with my father-in-law all the time.
Yeah.
Because in Arizona, like out here, you guys call them POAs. In Arizona, we call them HOAs.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. So homeowners associations. Well, I lived in one ever since I got married until I moved out here. Right. Because I'm like,
Right.
I'm not doing that again. But like in Arizona, you paid a lot of money for an HOA.
Right, and you don't get the amenities.
You don't get the
that we
amenities.
get.
You have a green belt and maybe a park.
Yeah.
That's about it.
That's
Yeah.
all.
And but you're paying for all that stuff. Where like Bella Vista, you ain't paying that much, kinda.
Right.
I mean, in the scheme of things.
In the scheme of things, right.
Yeah, and then you have access to all this
And
stuff.
right. I
'Cause
mean,
you still get-
seven,
parks,
7 lakes, parks, the
Yeah.
gyms. Like I go to the gym for free because
Yeah.
of my
Right.
activity card.
The pool, right?
You know, the pool.
The driving
Yeah.
range is free.
The driving range is free for me.
Right.
Yep.
And really, I think like my biggest I get that stuff. I use it, and so for me, like I don't like paying it, but I will because I utilize it and I use it.
Right.
But we have the bike trails that run through Bella Vista, and you can use the bike trails no matter who you are for free.
Right.
But yet, Bella Vista POA goes to keep those clean and tidied, and
But
so
Somebody's got
that's my biggest like.
Is it?
although I will have to say the bike trails aren't free. Those bikes are too dang expensive.
I know. I know it.
Right.
Part of me is like, when are you going to get a bike, Dad, so we can go biking together? Because she's got a bike. And I'm like, I'm trying, but man, those bikes are expensive.
We have 7 lakes in Bella Vista, and you can't fish them unless you have a POA card.
Unless you have the POA card.
Or
Yeah.
you're with a POA member.
Yep.
If you want to put a boat, you have to register your boat with the POA in the city and put a little sticker. And,
But keeps
Well,
the
that's why
riffraff out.
that's why we bought a property out there.
yeah.
Like
And
just
so,
a little lot.
I mean,
Yep.
like, it's just there's the little
There's those
kitty
little
stuff.
things.
And then,
Yeah.
like, your doors, you have to paint, like, a certain color, but you got to pull 3 different permits because you have the POA, the city, and something else over there.
Yeah,
I
and you always
mean,
get the biggest argument was, in Arizona was with the HOA. Well, it keeps our neighborhood values up. Well, yes and no, because if y'all have been over to our house, we got like 2 neighbors, all within acres. Mm-hmm. But that thing's tidied all the time. It's mowed. It's taken care of. It looks good. You know, so it's like, okay, I don't need somebody telling me to mow my yard, or I'm going to go do it anyways.
Yeah.
But you know, we got the older guy, you know, at the end of the spot that I call the HOA president. You know, but
What did you mean by a green belt? What is that?
Yeah.
so a green belt is just that's a long stretch of green grass,
Okay.
like in like a common area. You know, like maybe so you have like a row of houses here, and then you know maybe at the end of cul-de-sac, you'll have like a green just grass and a like a belt area. Then here's another row of houses. Here's another row of houses. So all I did was kind of separate the houses. So it had like a common area where you could take your dog or go play catch.
Yeah, they have the little bike
so
or
it's just a
hiking path
little
around it. Not
patch of
hiking.
grass.
Sidewalks.
Pretty much, yeah. We had a little bit of grass in Arizona.
Yes. They got to pay a lot for grass in Arizona.
Was it brought in? No.
Yeah. And we got to pay to water it. Like all of our yards have rock in it.
That's where all the money went.
So like Bella Vista.
Yeah, like Bella Vista.
Yeah, just like Bella Vista.
We've got grass.
We know. We talked about your Kentucky bluegrass.
Actually,
nice stuff.
I got to do
Carpeted.
Well, no, I've got some weeds in it right now. I've got to get out and work on it. I do.
Terrible, man.
I got clovers coming up in my Kentucky bluegrass, so I gotta go. I gotta go work in the yard. That's on my honey-do list.
Yeah, me right now, if it's green, it gets cut and looks good.
Good enough.
One day I'll have nice grass.
One day you'll be old like me.
Sure.
Yep.
Right now I got a 13-year-old. He goes, "Hey, go mow." Okay, Dad.
Well, I was gonna say I got a 16-year-old, but it ain't that easy.
Yeah.
Like go mow or give me the keys.
I try to get my
and make it look like carpet because I paid a lot for sod. I would like it. I want it.
I try to get my dog to mow, but it don't work.
Yeah, it
So
didn't
I
work
have to
out.
go mow.
But when you
Oh,
get
you've
your
heard of
miniature cow, you
right.
eat all that grass.
Yeah.
All he would do is just fertilize it. So you're good.
I told Taylor to go mow once.
Yeah, how'd that
That
work?
didn't work?
Yeah, it didn't
I would
work.
say.
Didn't work. Yeah. Don't recommend.
No.
My wife will edge. She don't like how Haley edges, so she'll go out there and do it. I'm like,
She
hey,
no,
great.
she knows I'm picky about my yard though, so she'll just when it comes time to do the yard, she knows I'm there for 4 hours just
Getting it right.
getting it right.
I was actually surprised at how long it takes me to take care of the yard because I don't even have a big yard, but it's just, I don't know where it's the shape or what it is, but it takes me like 2 to 3 hours to mow and edge and go around the whole fence on the inside and the edges and all the, just too many darn angles. I don't know what they did, but
That's it, huh?
I got a corner lot.
Just 2 to 3 hours?
Yeah, 2 to 3
that's
hours.
nice.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I don't have acres.
Well, I don't either, but it
Yeah.
Yeah, Mando say, well, what happens when Haley goes to college? Who's going to mow? I said, well, I got another one coming up. You know, so, when they're gone, you'll buy me another zero turn every 10 minutes.
Hey, those Roomba mowers are coming along pretty good. It won't be too long before you can just throw yourself out a electric AI robot to mow your backyard for you.
Right.
I mean, they're already there. They're already
right.
there.
They make these fancy things called this John Deere zero turn.
No, I know. I know.
Nice.
Those are awesome.
I drove one of those all over the coffee farm. Those things are great. We had a Kubota zero turn, but still, it was good. It was good. Wasn't
Zero
big
turns are
enough.
awesome.
Wasn't big enough for the coffee farm, but other than that,
those little robot mowers, that's a no for me.
yeah, not gonna do that.
No.
Yeah. I like my robot vacuum.
No.
Keeps my house clean.
No.
He says no.
But he'll say yes.
Don't knock it until you try it.
Exactly.
It looks like I got the same
we
one.
got the robot.
I got the same one you do. I saw it over at Autumn's graduation party. I was
Yeah,
like, yeah,
what
it's
do
the
y'all-
same one I got.
It's
That
awesome.
thing is awesome.
It works great.
It does.
Well, one of you guys interrogated us for a while. You know, what's it do? How's it do?
Yep.
I can't remember which one you guys. And the next thing you go, you guys are like, "Hey, yeah, let's try that."
Hey, they were on sale. It was
Yeah.
Christmas. I said, let's do this.
Yep. Do you vacuum? Mm-hmm. Oh. See,
See,
my
we do-
wife
we do.
vacuums.
No. I vacuum my suite.
I eliminated a chore for her by
Yep.
she just hits a button.
Yep.
Hey,
Yep, exactly
you'll make
right.
a good housewife one day.
Now Harmony does it. Harmony empties the little bucket, hits the little button. She loves doing it.
And that thing mops too.
Yeah, I don't have that one.
Okay.
I didn't get the mop one. I that one wasn't on sale, but I told her I'd get that next time.
Yep.
I do it all. Not dishes. I let Taylor do dishes, but she can have those. But the laundry, everything else is me. I do it. Take care of it.
I used to. And then I got a robot vacuum.
Right. We got to eliminate one thing that we could just spend time doing something else.
Right. Now I got more plants in the
chores.
backyard.
More chores. Yeah, more chores.
Yep. Now I got extra tomato plants and some extra pepper plants and some stuff like that I'm growing in the backyard.
Exactly. I don't know.
I got that too.
I like that.
Daniel's
But
always like the youngest, oldest guy I know.
I know it.
Do what?
Daniel, you're like the youngest, oldest guy I know.
Look, I sit in my recliner with my plaid blanket over my legs. somewhere.
And drink my black coffee.
Drink my black coffee.
Watch
and
Matlock.
Andy Griffith.
When it's 110 outside,
I'll
you know,
watch Andy Griffith. Or Gunsmoke.
News
Depends
comes on
the
at
time.
6, boys.
yeah.
I actually watched the 4:30 news.
See, there you go.
4:30. People are still at work by then.
School hours.
Get
Right,
up,
right.
Get up, watch news, 5 a.m., drink my coffee.
What's wrong with these kids nowadays?
I'm just an old soul.
Yep.
That's it, man.
You're something.
Summer's here. I don't have an alarm set, but I'm still up at 6, sitting there drinking coffee,
That's cute.
watching the news. I know you're already at work, but life of a teacher.
I'd do my job any day than a teacher.
I probably would too. If I could do Jetty's job, I'd go do that.
I don't think it's getting any easier either. So
Being a teacher?
yeah,
No.
doesn't seem like it.
No. Well,
Aren't you a teacher too? Aren't you a teacher as well?
no, he leaves that to his wife.
No, yeah, exactly right. I leave that to someone smarter than me.
Oh, well, that works out. I mean,
Yeah, it does. Yeah, I help out here and there, but no,
she
that's-
probably teaches you as well. That's probably what it is. No,
Yeah, I couldn't be a teacher. I gotta know something.
yeah,
I don't know anything.
all these kids would be coming out mouthier than they ever have.
Right.
Now go. I taught you all I know.
You are prepared.
Here's the real world.
Hey, they don't have to be taught that. They already, they already are.
Yep. Oh, they pick it up quick. The little girl next door, she was homeschooled last year. This year she's not. She's her first year in real school, and we have seen the shift very rapidly in how she acts. And I think she's kindergarten or first grade. And she's, they're already getting into the standing sideways, the stuff just started coming out.
The sass.
Yep.
The thug life.
Yep. I'm like, man.
Is she?
Last year she was an innocent little summer child.
Is she in public school or is she?
I don't know. I actually haven't asked them. I didn't press that hard,
You
but
need to figure out where we're at.
see where they're going.
Daniel's school.
I get it though. They just had
No,
another baby,
they're not-
so it makes
they're
it
not zoned for
hard
me.
to homeschool. But
Yeah.
you gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah, you do. You do. You have to.
Gamble, probably.
Because that's what
if
we
they're-
did. I mean,
if
we
they're
made that
public.
determination when we had both of our kids. It was like, are somebody going to stay home or what are we going to do? And so we decided that they were going to go to public school because we both, at that time, we were both, the career driven and I don't know, just,
Brainwashed. No, I'm just kidding.
yeah, but we always say that Crystal didn't have enough patience to stay at home.
Yeah. You would have been great at it.
Oh yeah, I would have loved it. I get to do it right now.
Yeah, when we first had Harmony, Wendy's music career kept getting busier and busier, and they were playing bigger gigs, and we kept saying, well, if this keeps on like this, maybe I will be the one teaching her, because if that's what your career turns into, again, that we just, not saying we were planning that, it's just something we talked about. It's like, if you're going to be doing shows and traveling a ton and all this, that's why we were looking at getting the RV, and are we going to do that life? Are we just going to be, homeschooling her in the RV as we travel from state to state and playing music and shows all over the place and trying to do that? We had thought that might be where we were going. This is before we were saved, of course, too, but still. But then, of course, Lord's plans. The Lord's plans step in and things change.
You won't get an RV, you'll get a Yukon. No.
Yeah. I have a Yukon.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now we want a tow behind though, because Wendy's she's right. If we get something like that someday, which we probably never will, but if we did, we get tow behind, because then you can drop it off and drive around wherever you are and pick it up. I think that's a good point. That's a good point. We had an RV and I left it in the care of my family, and I was like, hey, I should go get that thing, and they're like, no, you don't want it anymore. We didn't take good care of it. I said, oh, okay.
Remember
You
that
say
house
honest.
you all grew up in, the haunted house?
Yeah, right.
That became the new one.
That's where it is. Yeah, no, apparently it sat outside in a field for like 3 years with nobody doing nothing to it. And so they said, I don't think that thing's worth anything anymore. I'm like, well, that's a bummer. It's all right, though.
You got any quotes over there, quote man?
Oh, man.
I know.
Remember, he forgot his iPad.
Oh,
he
yeah.
doesn't.
I forgot.
And he doesn't know how to have his iPad and his iPhone linked. So
Oh, yeah.
Don't tell me these things.
he's like, oh, wait, you can do that?
One of those old people,
Yeah.
like Randy.
You never know how strong you are until being strong is the only choice you have.
That
Go
is
on
true.
one.
That
good
is
one.
true. So
What do you think, Jed?
I'll say that's
Yeah, that's very true.
You know, you bring that up, and I was waiting for the right time to bring this up, but it's now. But I was talking to somebody last night, and we were talking about you, Jed. Not bad things behind your back, but
Just what he's going to talk about.
Yeah,
this is what I'm
that's
going to talk
what
about
I'm
right now.
talking
So it's not going to be behind your back now. It's going to be in front of your face.
Okay.
But, you know, all the stuff that you've gone through here in the last 2 months, you know, when we've talked about this, and it's just poured and poured and poured over there. But I told this individual, I says, but you have set the example for a lot of us that if we ever go through the circumstances you went through, on how to do it with Jesus being your focus. And, you know, I appreciate it, you know, and you really have. And I don't know if you've, through this time, you probably don't even know certain things that you've said or certain things that how you acted or certain ways like that, because you've had so much on your mind. And, you know, days have blended in. You don't even know what day it is. You don't know what time it is. It's just so much piled up on you. But from an outsider, and a lot of us that's been around you during this time, we can see the example that you have set for us to act and to put God first. And I just want to say, hey, thank you for that. But, you know, it's just, I wanted to, I don't know what the word is, but I just wanted to say that you've said it. You know, you've been the example.
I'll add to that because, you know, we sit here and talk about your family, and we could see through that you guys serve the Lord, because even at the visitation, I don't know if you was listening to our conversation with your dad there.
I missed it.
Of course, you know, I hate asking how y'all are doing, but I mean, that's just how it comes out. How you guys doing?
Yeah.
And your dad come back at me and goes, we've had some pretty good hard weeks this last few weeks, but I don't see how anybody can do it without Jesus. He said, I think we're doing pretty good for what we're given. And like I said, just adding to that, I mean, you could see it runs through the family. So not only you, but it sounds like your dad's a good.
And the day after Hillary had passed away, he showed up at the house that afternoon. I think Derek was already there. And he kind of slipped in and was slipping out. And I didn't really get to talk to him, so I run out there. And he just looked at me and he said, well, everything's going to be okay. We've got our faith. And I said, that's all we've got.
Yeah. So I was really motivated by his response on that. Like I said, I'm pretty sure, I'm not going to speak for him, but pretty sure that night when we was over there, we waited on you to talk to us, and it was God's plan.
Yep.
And I think that was pretty good motivation for us as well that night. So if anything, we've taken that away as seeing the faith and being the example. So, I mean,
Well, he does have a plan, and he's not supposed to give us anything we can't handle. But I'm going to tell you, it's a load. But if it wasn't for him, there's no way.
Yep.
Absolutely.
And I had an interesting discussion actually with my wife, Wendy. We were talking about this because there was actually a clip that this guy played, and he said, he goes, I understand that there is God's plan, right? He goes, but says, I've stopped saying it to people who are going through a grieving process, saying, oh, well, it's all part of God's plan. And his point to it was, he goes, I don't think God's plan is to cause you pain, right? That's not like he set out to do that. He didn't say, again, and I could be wrong on this, but I understand what he was trying to come from, is saying that it's not like God required this thing to happen to you. It happened, and whatever happens, there's nothing that can thwart his plans, and he can turn all things for good, no matter what it is at all. Because and this is a different situation too, because there are certain situations you'd say this is not God's working at all, that this happened, because that can clearly be a working of Satan that could cause bad things to happen to people. I don't think that's what this was in this situation, but just saying to say to someone else. Now, then you said it, and then my point with this is, but when someone who's going through it is holding on to that and saying that I know that God has a plan, and that no matter what happens, his plan will be perfect and his plan will work. We won't know what it is till later. So again, I don't know. I don't think God's plan was initially for Hillary to die right now. I just don't know if that's true. But if that is what happened, there's only good that can come of it through your faith, through what you do, through how everyone around it interacts with it. So again, I'm not saying it's not God's plan. I'm just saying I don't know if it was written from the beginning that this is how it was going to go.
And we got to remember what the devil's job is, right? He seeks and destroys, right? He's the one that causes grief. He's the one that causes these issues.
What did he want Job to do? He wanted Job to curse God.
Right.
He wants to turn people away from God. That's all he can do.
That's what he wants to do.
Yeah, that's all he can do.
That's all he can do.
Yep.
He can't, and like we always say too, the devil can't be in multiple places at once. Only Jesus.
And he doesn't know all things.
Right? He doesn't know all things. But he has a job, and this is his playground right now, is destroy, us as Christians. Is to destroy us.
He knows he can't win.
To deceive us. Yep. To get us away from God. And he goes, hey, if I do this and this and this, we'll see how strong your faith is now, bud. And you're going, okay. Sometimes we have to sit there and we got to fight them because it is a war. And we go, okay. And this is why we have the armor of God, right? And that's why the sword is the scripture, right? That's why we fight with that. And that's what you've done, Jed, is you fought with that. You fought the devil. And you're going, you're not going to get me away from God. What you're going to do is make me stronger. You're going to make me closer to God. And so a lot of us could go through that and go, okay, I'm going to blame God, and I'm going to play the blame game, and I don't want to believe in God no more because, God, you allowed this to happen, right? And I've heard that a lot of times, and I've heard that from multiple people, and that's why I wanted to say something to Jed tonight on that, because God, Jed's not blaming God, and he's going, I'm going to fight the devil, and you're going to make me closer to God.
I don't know if I don't see how a person would want to blame God on that and just push him away. It doesn't sink in my mind right, but it's like I told you the other day. I am at so much peace. I'm at so much peace that my peace scares me. And I know where it comes from, but I'm just I miss them all, but I'm at peace with it. And it really does kind of give me the little heebie-jeebie every once in a while. It's like, okay.
Why am I feeling so peaceful right now?
So peaceful.
Yeah.
And that's what God does is, he says to come to me for comfort.
Right.
Yeah. Come to me, and that's why he gives you that peace and that comfort. Because he's the only person, he's the only one that can do that. in a circumstances like this.
Oh, and I wonder why all the movies and all the daytime stories are all about how people get so angry and their lives fall apart and they turn away from God. And why do they seed that? I mean, that just seems strange, right? That couldn't be a reason that they make people think that's what you're supposed to do.
That's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's normal to do that, to fall apart completely and fall away.
Right. And I know, and I understand, we've had many talks, Jed. I mean, we all have a breaking point, right? We do. We all have a breaking point. And sometimes we have to find those ways to release some of the stress, right? As I told you, I'm like, hey, you want to go shoot guns? You want to go do something? You want to, hang out as men and go do something that gets you away from the everydayness of, thinking about it.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, we still have that as humans. We have that in our mind. And, but with your comfort and your faith in God has brought so much peace over you that you're going, well, Derek, I'm okay. I'm all right now. I mean, and I know, don't let anything else happen right now because I'm right there.
Yeah, I'm right there, but yeah.
I get it.
I just don't know how a person that doesn't have God in their life, that's where the movies come in.
Yeah, because they don't.
Yeah.
They don't.
They don't have that true relationship with God. And that's where the biggest part of that, and I think we preach on this all the time, and we've had studies, and we've said this multiple times, is the relationship with God. Not just sitting at the pew, not just going, hey, I'm here, but having that deep, true relationship with God and knowing Him. And that's why a lot of these answers, or a lot of these questions could be answered because we know the characteristic of God, right?
Yep. A man on a desert island with no Bible could still have a super close relationship with God and be in heaven and be saved.
Right.
You don't need anything else. You don't. All the rest of it is good, and you should want it, and you should do it, but you don't need it. All you need is God.
Yeah.
All you need is Jesus.
That's it.
And
That's
that
it.
support dog, right?
What? Yes, and that's support dog.
And the support dog.
So I wanted, because you brought up Job, I wanted to look at this because we talk about like when things happen in life and part of God's plan, and we don't know if it's God's plan or not. And then we always resort back to Job and how Satan took all this away from Job. But have you ever noticed in the story of Job exactly what happens at the beginning? If you pick up chapter 1, verse 6, it says, "Now there was a day when the sons of God came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan also came among them. The Lord said to Satan, 'From where have you been?' Satan answered the Lord and said, 'From going to and fro on the earth, and from walking up and down on it.' And the Lord said to Satan, 'Have you considered my servant Job, that there is none like him on the earth, a blameless and upright man who fears God and turns away from evil?'" Job was never on Satan's radar until God said, "Have you considered him?" God put Job on Satan's radar for the testing. So when we talk about being in God's plan, for us, it's hard to conceptualize because God thinks outside of time and space.
Right.
And we think in time and space. And we talk about how God is all-knowing, right? And it sounds weird, but having lost friends at such a young age, and as I've gotten older, what I've had to realize is that it is a part of God's plan, even though sometimes we don't want to accept that. Because God laid the foundations of the earth before the foundations of the earth were ever put.
Right.
God laid our lives out and
He knew
knew when
your
it was
name.
going to begin and when it was going to
gonna
end before the foundations were ever laid. And so I don't know. I don't feel comfortable saying, well, I don't know if it was a part of God's plan or not. Because when I think about it,
Everything's God's
it's
plan.
all part of
everything
God's
is.
plan.
It's all God's plan.
And that's what we have to understand, and that's what we have that hope and that peace in, is knowing God's going to take care of it
I
because
feel
it's part of it.
if you try to take it out, that what might not have been God's plan, then you're going to let a little bit of doubt sink in. Okay, well, God's not in complete control.
And
He allowed that to happen.
And that's where the anger starts.
That's where the anger starts to build.
Yeah.
You got to just say it's all part of God's plan,
Yeah.
even if He's allowed the devil to do it. If the devil done it,
Yeah.
And what really opened my eyes to this was when I was in Montana on my mission trip after my freshman year of college. I had no cell phone service where I was at, absolutely none. And then one day, full bars. And 3 days after the full bars, I get a phone call from my cousin saying my grandpa passed away. I was like, how in the world? Like at the moment, I'm crushed because my grandpa was like my best friend. And so I was crushed, but then I realized that was all part of the plan that God had laid out. You know, I didn't see it at the time, but later on, and I've realized that too. You know, I mean, this last Saturday, I went to that
I'm glad you
memorial
bring that. I
service.
was going to say you need to bring that up.
This last Saturday, I went to a memorial service for one of my good buddies that I worked with for 3 or 4 years. I think 4 years over at the elementary school. And he grew up around the church, but was so, there is no God. You know, if there was a God, things wouldn't happen, like bad things wouldn't happen, all this. And so we had spent so many conversations. I think probably 3-4 days a week, we were having hour-long conversations about God and God's love and salvation. And when I got the news, so Hillary passed on, what was that, the Wednesday, right? Or Thursday?
Wednesday.
Wednesday. Okay, yeah. So Hillary passed on Wednesday. He passed on Sunday, the same week.
Same week.
And so, like, I had the Hillary news and then him. And the way they were hiking in Oregon. His kids went over the cliff of a waterfall, and he was such a selfless man. He dove to save them and overshot. Saved the 3 boys, but overshot, fell to his death. And so when I got the news, the biggest regret I had in my life was not knowing whether or not he ever trusted and accepted Christ. And so when we were at the memorial service, his wife came up to me, and she said, "Thank you." I said, "Thank you for what?" She said, "Thank you for loving Ryan enough to continuously sharing with him and never giving up." I said, "What do you mean?" She said, "December of 2021, sitting on the front porch, he accepted Christ." And I was like, what? You know? And so you never know.
You never know.
You never know. And here it was a year and a half later, he passed away. He never stepped foot in a church, even after that. You know, never was baptized, never, like, we talk about the man on the cross, like that
the
theology.
thief on the cross,
The thief on the cross theology, man. And that was the thing, was he didn't like organized religion, but he knew he needed Jesus. And, you know, but yeah. And
that was all with God's perfect plan.
It was all, I mean, like I said, I don't know, countless times that we talked and I shared with him, and countless times it was just like, no, I don't believe in, you know, organized religion. I don't believe in God. Like, I mean, and then just one day.
And that's God working through you, man.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, it's just.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's like Hillary, I worked with her. You worked with her and all, but I had that urge to work with her. The other ones, I'm not saying I didn't work with them, but we actually worked. We sat down. We was on the couch. We had the Bible out, and we was reading, and we'd have little discussions, and had done that. Which she was, she was baptized almost a year before she passed away. So I felt good about that. But I know I've had the conversation with you, Derek, and I think I've talked to Randy, but to look back in the last 2 years of her life, there was just little cues like this was God's plan.
Yeah.
She wasn't meant to be here. There was things that had happened that just little glimpses that God was saying, she's going to go home.
Yeah.
And that's the thing you always got to remember is we're not grieving them.
No.
we're the ones missing. We're the ones
like
in loss.
Nathan always comes and gives me a hug here in church, and he'll pick me off the ground.
Yeah.
Oh, I love Nathan.
I do too.
Yeah, I love Nathan.
But he come up the other day and asked me how I was doing Sunday and picked me up off the ground, and I said, doing pretty good, Nathan. And of course, then he'd come back in and give me another one, and he kind of teared up. And I said, Nathan, one thing about it, I do miss them, but I said, that's not the problem. I said, I'm jealous. I know where they're all at.
Right. I mean, I feel like I've said that several times.
Yeah.
Like they're at the feet of Jesus.
Yeah.
I'm jealous now.
Yeah, Hillary's like, hey, Grandma.
Right. They won the race.
Yeah, they won the race.
Yeah. And that's the thing, like, especially, I had a buddy that passed away at the age of like 15, 16 of leukemia. And everyone's like, oh, he lost the battle to cancer. He lost it. And I'm like, he didn't lose the battle. Like, yeah, he passed from here, but, man, he won the battle. Like,
I lost a good friend in 4th grade.
Yeah.
Same thing, leukemia.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so I don't say that he lost. Hillary didn't lose anything.
Nope.
Nope. No, yeah.
We lost her, but
Right.
she
Gained everything.
She gained everything.
Yeah.
She ran that marathon quicker than I did. Like,
Just wait till you get there. She's going to say, loser.
she is. Yeah.
You're the snail.
She sure will.
Yeah.
That's so true, though.
I know.
So true.
Let me shoot this out here and see what y'all boys think about it. It says, death ends a life, but not the relationship. Thoughts?
I could say that for like my father, when he passed away, I still talk to him, even though I know that's not biblical. I know
I do the same thing
But-
with my mom. Yep.
Yeah.
I don't know if he can hear me. I think he does. I mean, if I can understand, I think he would, but I don't know. I have no idea how that actually works. And usually when I talk to him, I'm not expecting him to answer. It's most of the time it's like, you were right about that.
Right.
You told me you were right about that, or thank you for teaching me that, or thank you for doing that. These just different little things that without him, I would not be the man that I am today. And so there's a I had a relationship with him, and it didn't just disappear. I still hear his teaching. I hear his encouragement. I hear his voice there, trying to help me.
Right. And I think we all do that, right? I mean, I think we still build a relationship with somebody that's gone, but I don't think it's kind of a different kind of relationship. It's not. Like I do the same thing too. Like my mom passed young, and then you talk about grandpas.
Yeah.
Man, grandpas are awesome. Like I was blessed to have 2 great grandpas. I mean, two grandpa. One on each side. But I mean, they're both awesome.
Yeah.
They're both really good men. They teach you how to do things as a kid and run a tractor or go get hay or learn how to drive a truck on a dirt road. Just stuff like that where you're like, man, that's my grandpa.
It's like still seeking their wisdom.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
It is, yeah.
So it's like that. It's still seeking, going, hey, I don't know what kind of relationship though.
That's where I'm trying to figure out. Is it more that you keep the memory?
I think it's more that.
Like now there's moments like my mom's dad, that grandpa taught me how to build stuff, right? And so when I'm building something or restoring a piece of furniture, like I'm doing now with this table for a guy from school, like sometimes I hear his voice in my head, like, "Hey, idiot, why are you doing it this way?"
Take your time.
Yeah, take your time. Or that like you feel the slap on the back of your head, and you're like, nobody's here.
Yes, Grandpa.
Yeah.
But I do. I think it's more the memory of what we had with them, as opposed to
like an actual relationship. Yeah.
And that makes sense. That's why I brought it up. I was wanting, when I seen that, I was like, I'm on the same page. It's hard to classify it as a relationship when it's more of a, like you said, seeking, wisdom or, you have it and stuck in your head going, I do it this way, but I know as soon as I do it, is this the way they're going to do it?
Yeah.
Would have been better to do it that way, stopping and listening.
Because like building a relationship is like an everyday process, right? And then building a relationship is we're building new memories. And that's how I picture a relationship. Like we all are building a relationship with each other. We're building a relationship with other people, and it's still going on. And even with the relationship with God, that's a daily thing too.
Right.
And we're building that relationship. And so I think with somebody that's gone, I don't feel that we're building the relationship with them, but we kind of remember all of their things that they taught us.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I was going to say, I don't know, all of those too fresh, too dumped on me too much and too soon, but I can't see the relationship. It's a memory.
It's a memory.
It's trying to hold on, which another friend of mine that I went to college with, you hadn't met yet, but you'll meet him too.
Can't wait.
But he lost his father in a farming accident probably when he was 12. And he come down the other day again after the visitation and stuff, and we visited a while, but he said you've had it pretty rough. He asked me a few little questions, and he said, I see how you're getting along, and he understands my faith. And he said, the hardest thing to do, and he said, it'll hit you later down the road. He said, you'll forget their voice. He said, you keep plugging along and little things slip away from you. Mm. And he said, you've got to keep going. But he said, all of a sudden one day, he says, you'll just, what their voice sound like? What was the smell in their truck or something? It will hit you. And he said, you just kind of push back to keep moving forward. And he said, it'll hit you one day.
Yeah. I can still smell the flowers in my mom's funeral.
Right.
You know, I smell that smell. That's what I'm like, man, I don't want to smell that.
Yeah.
But I know she's in a good spot too, man. She's up there in heaven, and
it took me a while to get back to building stuff, because the smell of sawdust and the smell of stain reminded me of the good times we had. But
I don't know. I told him, I said, that's one of the first things I did. I went through her phone. I went through mine looking for videos or something just to have her voice. Mm-hmm. And one thing that I still do every once in a while, I'll sit up and watch Ray's little photo.
The little video?
Yeah.
Nice.
And I might watch the full hour of it or more, but I probably watch that, I'd say at least twice a week. And it's just to remember the good times.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm glad. I am.
That was a good job too on that slideshow.
Thank you.
It was awesome.
It was.
I was like I said, I went at it with full effort.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna make it as good as I can.
Yep.
So.
And the music that she had went with it. Some of them kind of make you think there for a little bit.
When you gave me that list, like I said, I had to get all of them on there because I couldn't. You can't even just buy MP3s really easily anymore. So I literally had to use recording software to listen to them and record them over the video. So every single one of them I had to listen to too. Yeah. So I was going through this playlist of all these songs, and I give it to God, the order they came in and all of it. At the end, I was like, that worked out really well. That worked out so darn well. Like one song almost kind of led into the other in some spots. And I'm like, wow. And like you said, some of those songs, I'm like, it's unbelievable how well they fit everything. And I know you guys didn't have a ton of time to pick those out.
No.
You literally were like, we're going to get you some songs.
That
and
was,
an hour later, here they are.
That was like the first 5 or 6 or 7 that was on her playlist. That was in her phone. That was hers.
Yep. There's a couple of them I'd never heard before, too. Yeah. And I'm like, man,
you're like, who's that?
Song.
Who's that? Yeah.
Yep. Harmony really likes one of them, that 7 Years song.
Yep.
She really likes that one. She's been playing around with that and trying to figure out how to play it on her own piano and stuff. Yep.
Yep. And these kids have their songs.
Oh, they do.
They do.
Yep.
I remember growing up too. Don't listen to the devil's music. Well, come on. Some of it's really cool.
Now it's classical music now.
Yeah.
It's like, no,
Right.
I'm not that old yet.
I know.
Right.
You have Guns N' Roses on classic rock. You're like, wait a second.
Why?
I am that old.
Right.
I'll accept it.
The one of hers that got me that I'd never heard or anything was that one of Daddy's Love. I'd never heard that one before. And I was surprised it was on her deal.
Yeah, that father-daughter bond it's different.
Well, it's because it's built into us. It's the plan from God, right? We are called as the men to watch over the women.
Right.
That is our job. That is like, you got one job, is to take care.
Don't screw it up.
Yeah. Take care of the women.
Yep.
That's what the whole headship thing means. That's what, again, some of the stuff we'll probably be going over, or we will be going over in the men's ministry Bible study stuff, is just, again, what is our job? What is our role? And that we understand some of it. It's just built innately into you, right? But our society is trying to take it apart, is trying to undercut it, is trying to remove it, right? And it's not by accident,
Right.
And that's a whole different topic. But it is being done on purpose. Again, that stat I can't remember which one of you guys shared it, but we know it's true. I've seen it in other places that, if the man gets saved, it is almost impossible for the rest of the family not to get saved.
Yep.
There is a reason it happens that way.
93%.
Yeah, and nothing comes close.
Right.
Nothing comes close. And that's what we are called to do, is to shepherd our families, to guide our families, to protect our families, and even the women more than our young boys.
Right.
And that's just ingrained in the men. And we, again, even unsaved men know that in a certain way. We know
Protect
it.
their family.
Yeah.
Yeah, they know that.
Exactly. But again, as you said, that bond with your daughter, it's a different type of bond, because again, you have full responsibility for every single thing she does until she has a husband. That's when it's handed over to them. And you are the captain of that ship. Anything she does, God is going to judge you for when you get to heaven. So,
We've said this too, and then Pastor Roger hit it a couple weeks ago that, God created the family before the church, right? Created the family.
Yep.
Right. That's what our job as men are.
by
I mean,
like
that's what we do.
4,000 years, he created the family before the church.
Right. Yep.
Not just a little bit before.
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah. That is what it is. And that is why, again, it even says, when you husbands and wives, you cleave together to become one and leave your family, the rest of your family, because as soon as you do that, it's all about your wife, right? It is. And a good thing to remember, I think, too, that to drill into our heads, because our society twists this, and I think it's one of the reasons the divorce rate's so high. Your wife comes before your children.
Right.
Your wife is first.
Yep.
Because that is the godly relationship. That's the example you're setting for your children. That's the lessons you teach your children, how you treat your wife, how you take care of your wife. And I am guilty of that too, even especially with the situation we have where I have to do more of the things for Harmony, where maybe the wife would step in to take her to these different things or do these different things. So I end up spending a lot more time with her. And so there are other times we'll get back from softball and Harmony will be like, "Hey, Daddy, can we do this?" And I said, "No, I'm going to go spend time with your mother now. You can go play with your toys. You can go watch some TV. But no, it is Mom and Dad time." I can't come with. Nope, you're not coming with. Nope, we're going to go sit together. It's our time. And I'm trying to just set that good boundary for her to show her that's what she should be looking for in a man too, is a man who prioritizes her over everything else.
Yep, because it goes God first, then our wives. And we've said this before on the last Raising Kids, and this comes up again. But there's too many parents out there that idolize their kids. And that's the issue, is that you have these parents that are idolizing their kids so much that you don't have a relationship with your own spouse. Because your relationship's built on your kid and your kid only. Well, that's wrong.
Well,
I'm going to say it. I'm probably going to get so much grief for it, but it's wrong. Because as a man, our job, and it started with Adam and Eve, right? Our job is to work, tend to the field, and to take care of our wives, right? That's our job.
And our wives' job is to take care of the kids.
Yes.
I still like that. There's a different comedian, but, again, saying that, if you're thinking about having children, you should just make sure you marry a Christian, because at least she'll want to be with the kids.
Yep. I mean, if we look back on, just in my marriage and all that stuff, yeah, sometimes we have failed to do that, but the closer I got my relationship with God, the closer I get to my wife and building that relationship. And she could tell you now, and you can go ask her anytime now. She goes, yep, that is the man that I married. You are the man that I married. Because I've gone through other stuff and gone away from God and come back. And now my relationship with God is a lot stronger. My relationship with my wife is a lot stronger.
Right, because it's a mirror.
And then her relationship with God's a lot stronger, And now we got that relationship now that we know that she comes first before the kids.
Yeah. It's a triangle. Like anytime I do marriage counseling and for people, it's you, them, God. And so as you're both growing closer to God, you're both growing closer together.
Yep.
And that's the way it's supposed to be.
Yep.
Right, because it's that mirror of that. We are subservient to God. We give everything to God. We give our will, lead us, guide us, teach us. And our wives are supposed to do the same. We are supposed to be the ones who are leading the family. This is the direction we're going. This is the theology that we believe in. This is our, not saying we have to decide every day we're having sloppy joes for dinner tonight. That's you can do
woman?
that. But get in that kitchen and make me some pie.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
No, we're having chicken tonight.
But again,
in a while.
we are supposed to mirror Jesus.
Right.
We are supposed to be
He set the example.
the servant.
Yeah.
We should wash her feet. I haven't washed my wife's feet in a while, but
It doesn't always have to be physically washing feet.
it doesn't always have to be.
But when you brought up that, you brought up that passage of Job, right?
Yeah.
And he says, have you met my servant? Right? When you said that, I'm like, how awesome that would be. God going, hey, have you met my servant Derek?
Right.
Right.
You know of him?
Right.
And I'm like, you imagine that? It'd be awesome. And
You know me.
I know you. Wow. You get to that part and that relationship with God so much that he called, this is my servant.
Yeah, because even in that with Job, Satan said, I've been going to and fro, right? And I always skip over that part of it. But what does Satan do? What's his job? He goes to and fro the earth to seek, kill, and destroy.
Yes.
And that's what he was referring to. Like, hey, I was going to and fro to do my job, like to seek, kill, and destroy. And then
He
God's
is
like, have you considered Job?
Yeah.
Like, here you go.
This is my servant.
my servant
Right.
Job. Oh, he's only your servant because of...
Right.
Okay, well, here, take everything he has. Just don't
Yeah.
take
can't
it
harm
self.
him.
Right.
Yep.
Boom.
Yep.
Well, since you guys brought it back to Job, I was looking back. I was looking for this one a while ago when we was going back to Job's. But it says, Jesus is familiar with rejection, suffering, and sorrow. You can trust that he will not abandon you in yours. And
Yeah.
in that quote itself, what I got to thinking about it was, he was sent here to feel what we feel, do what we do. So how's that not comforting to know that he's already been through it, done it, and we can rely on him, trust in him. So
He's been betrayed in the worst way possible,
Right.
tortured,
Right.
murdered.
The worst trial known to man.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
The most corrupt trial.
Yep.
And we see that even today. Like, we see the trials that go on. And, we've been involved in trials. We see how the justice system is. We know how bad it is.
Yep.
Yep.
And that right there showed us how corrupt that trial was. I mean, really. I mean, it was the worst trial known to man.
Yeah. Not just that. I mean, he knew the pain of losing a loved one, right? He knew the pain of friends leaving him behind, betraying him, running off.
Yeah.
You know, he knew the pain of parents walking off and leaving him at the temple.
Right. Knew your own family disowning you.
Yeah.
He had brothers and sisters who did not believe him and disowned him and were probably, I mean, it doesn't explicitly say it, but he was at his hometown when they tried to stone him to death. I think his family was there. You'd think.
Right.
So
I'm not saying they were throwing stones. I'm just saying they weren't, nowhere does it say, and Jesus' family tried to stop them.
Right.
But he did bring back his friend Lazarus.
He did, bro.
He did.
I mean, come on.
Come on. He's got one thing. No,
But
He
he
was
set
my
that
best
example,
friend.
though. He set the
yeah.
example
He
for
did.
all of us.
He did.
Yeah.
He did.
Because he's gone through everything that we're going to go through
Everything.
and says, look, Jesus, speaking, I'm still perfect.
Yep.
Yeah.
I went through all the same things you're going to go through, and I'm still sinless.
And I did this for you.
And I did this
Well,
for you.
you go
and
back
I
to-
died on the cross.
Yeah. You go back to Matthew before the Sermon on the Mount, and he went through the temptation.
Yeah.
You know,
And it's like Jay says, nothing new under the sun.
No.
No, there's nothing
No.
new. There's
He's
nothing
done
new.
it. Why? I mean, I'm not saying we can't and we're better. I'm just saying if he's done it, you know it's there. Don't be surprised or don't have strong faith
Yeah.
because it's already been done. Put your faith in him. You know.
Yeah.
And he went through the false prophets.
That's right. He did.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, he's gone through it all.
He's gone through it all.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so us as men, we got to look at that and go, that is the man I want to be.
Yeah.
And I'm crying about this. Jeez.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got to wake up early for this. Right. I don't know.
Thank
Well,
you.
I mean-
The good thing is, too, he went through some good times, too, I bet. I don't think it was all bad.
No.
You know?
Sitting around the campfire.
Palling
I
around
always
with
think,
12 of
you
your
ever think
best
that Jesus
buddies.
would like joke with the
gonna say
disciples?
12
I mean, like buddies, you know, like,
absolutely.
hey,
Had
man.
to.
You
Had
know?
to.
I mean, he got frustrated with them too. Why
Yeah,
don't
he
you
did.
all understand
Yeah.
this?
Or he'd be like, man, you know, yeah. Like,
You
where'd you
get
get those
12
sandals
guys
at?
together, you're
Where'd
going
you
to
get
get
those
frustrated.
sandals?
Yeah.
Why are you worrying about food? Did you not just see what I did?
Yeah. And Jesus is going like, hey, look at my sandals. They're perfect.
Yeah.
You know?
Have you seen that video
Why
where
is there dirt on yours? Mine's clean.
Right.
there's Jesus and the apostles? They're all sitting at this table at like a pizza joint, and the waitress is there, and the Jesus is like, "We'll just take 12 waters."
Yeah. Yeah. You know, that doesn't get explained in the Bible, but you'd have to just think of that. It was a good, some good times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And probably joked around a little bit and kind of just, you know.
That's the part we don't need, right?
Right.
We don't need that part.
Because
But-
we know how to do that.
We do. Yeah, we got that down.
But if you think it's all just serious and no fun, I
Right.
mean, then you got issues.
Right.
Because, I mean, there's got to be some relief at some point.
If he was 100% human, like I've never met anybody who doesn't have any bit of humor in there somewhere.
Right. Right. Yeah. I think some of the folks that are just serious all the time, man, sometimes the heart's not in the right spot.
They're missing out.
I don't think the heart's in the right spot.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that joy that they talk about, that's another thing, and I guess perfectly caps right on top of what we're talking about is how could you still have joy in going through things like what we're going, what Jed went through, right? And
Yeah.
you can't. People misunderstand, I think, what that joy means, right? Because it doesn't mean that you're happy. Joy and happiness are two separate things.
Yeah.
Happiness is built off of what? Emotions.
Emotion, yeah.
Right.
Happy's usually connected with something.
Right.
Physical.
When things are going
Yeah.
good,
Yeah.
Yep.
you're happy. When things are going bad, you're sad.
Yep. Whereas I see joy as like what I feel when I get up in the morning.
I was going to say it's within.
Yeah.
It's within
yeah.
you.
Yeah, it's like a fire. It's like that drive. It's the I enjoy life.
Yep.
I enjoy getting up every day.
That's why it's one of the fruit of the spirits.
Yeah.
Being content.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's not a single day where I wake up and I'm just like, oh, I just wish this wasn't here. I wish I wasn't going to have, I just wish it was over. I just wish I didn't get to do this or have to do this other thing. Even when it's like, I got 12 things to do today in 5 hours and there's no way it's going to get done and this is going to be terrible. But I'm still like, let's get it done.
Yeah. The joy is how fast can I drive my truck to get there?
Yeah.
Well, this little verse come to me the other day, and it kind of fits most of what I've been going through, I think. It's Romans 8:18. For I consider the sufferings of this present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory that shall be revealed in us.
Yeah. It's going to be nothing compared to the reward
Nothing.
and the glory that's coming. We're going to look back on it, and like I said, you won't even shed a tear over it because it'll be such a blip in all the rest of it.
I know.
I don't know, you got to look at the big picture. I'm always saying to keep it simple, but God's plan is so big we can't even think about it.
No, you can't even think about it.
But
So
we
you
know
just
how it
gotta-
ends.
We know how it ends, so just go with it.
Yep. Well, like I said, we'll either see him up there or we'll meet him in the air, right? Just depends on when he comes back.
And you think about that eternity. You ever think about that?
Right.
You can't even think about it.
No. We were talking about that this morning because I do a Sunday morning Bible study with one of the guys I work with, and we were talking about, just even trying to grasp eternity and how that's difficult because most people, like trillion is what we started talking about because people don't grasp what that means.
Right.
And that's why some people are not near as upset about, the debt going from 9 trillion to 10 trillion. Because it's just 9 to 10. You're like, no. Right. 9 trillion to 10 trillion is not just one. Like, you're not just changing one. That's an insane number. You can't even fathom it. It was like what was it? 1 million seconds is like 3 weeks. 1 billion seconds is like 30 years. And 1 trillion seconds, you're talking close to 300 years. Right? So that's the difference between 30 years or generations, right? That's what 1 trillion is. And that's not eternity.
Right.
That's just 1 trillion.
Is that amazing?
Yeah.
I mean, it's mind-boggling.
Mind-boggling. I barely can grasp it myself.
I can't.
But that breaks it down in a way where you're like, man, like eternity. Like
forever.
1 trillion seconds. I looked it up. I Googled it. 31,709 calendar years.
That's what it is. Yeah, 31,000 years. That's what 1 trillion is. So if I gave you $1 a day, it would take 31,000 years to give you $1 trillion.
We only went from 9 to 10.
Yeah, well, we went from 9 to 10. It's nothing.
Why do you gotta be so literal for it?
It's crazy.
That
is crazy.
I don't know. That just popped in my head, and I think about all. Not all the time, but when I do, and you think about that eternity, you're just. It's mind-boggling.
Well, it's more than 1 trillion seconds.
It's more than 1 trillion. Yeah. We just throw those numbers around like we understand them.
Right. We don't. Nobody does.
It's crazy.
Trillion. Yeah, it's amazing when they went to the trillion.
Yeah, to the trillions.
What's the biggest number out there?
Biggest number I know is a Googleplex. A Googleplex. It is a 1 followed by 1 million zeros. That's what a Googleplex is. There's probably a bigger number.
Hey, why do you know this?
That's not even come from the teacher.
Yeah, really.
Because I drink coffee and I know things. That's what I do.
I don't teach math.
Good coffee.
Yeah, I drink good coffee and I know things. Actually, I stole the line. I can't remember from what movie it is, but I used to tell people all the time. It's like, it's because between me and my brother, we know almost everything. If I don't know it, he does.
In a Google years, that is 10 to the 100th power.
Yeah, to the 100th power, which ends up being 1 million zeros.
Which is a lot.
That's
That's what the article says.
Yeah.
Which is a lot.
Yep.
I can't even think of 1 trillion. Or really even 1 billion.
That is
Right.
crazy.
I don't want to try to auctioneer in trillions.
No.
I'm not. No.
I mean, imagine.
Well, right now, though, no. Like,
You
now
can
look,
do
now
it.
look at
You can
this.
do it.
You're looking at houses. You all want to buy a house. And, we've kind of just looked to see what's out there. And now, like, your normal house with some land is $1 million.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm like, we were driving down the road, and that house, you know, that one on Mount Olive is for sale, like $1.2 million. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, that's $1 million. That's a lot of
It's
money.
insane. That's insane.
$1 million. Where people just think, oh, it's just $1 million. It's just $1 million. You're like, $1 million.
That's a lot of money.
They don't care about the money anymore because when you've been stealing out of the Monopoly Bank for that long, money
Right.
don't mean anything anymore.
That would take me 1 trillion seconds to be able to pay that off.
It's
insane.
true though. Well, I saw a stat the other day. And again, take it for what it is. I didn't double check it, but it said that year 2000, the average salary was about $44,000.
Yeah, that's about, yeah.
And the average home cost about $150,000.
Right.
Okay. Right. So now in 2020, the average salary was about $55,000, and the average home cost close to $400,000. Right. So we got an extra $10,000 a year, and home prices almost tripled.
Right.
It doesn't
make sense?
Doesn't make any sense at all.
No,
it don't work.
Don't work.
The math
don't
ain't
work.
mathin'.
Nope.
And we've had these many discussions with, you know, we've had these, you know, we usually with the old timers, right? Where, you know, we bought 1,000 acres for, you know, $20. Well, I only got paid a penny an hour. Well, I'm like, okay, well, it's way separated today than it ever has been.
Right.
Because I'm like, okay, you made $40,000 a year, but the truck was $30,000 brand new.
Right.
Well, now you make $50,000 a year. Now the brand new truck's $100,000.
Yeah.
You know, so like that gap is so big that it's bigger now than it's ever has been.
Right. They're now doing 40-year home loans.
Right.
Because homes cost so much.
Right.
They're
Well,
now doing 10 and 20-year car loans.
I was going to say
because
that, yeah.
cars cost so
you
much.
finance boats and RVs for 20 years.
Yeah.
They just
Whereas
don't
before-
last that long.
Right.
Right.
Whereas before
yeah.
it was 5 years. It was like tops.
Right.
What you ever saw in any of that was 5.
And that's what we still kind of stick to where we
Yeah.
buy something. We're like, 5 to 6 years max. That's
Yeah.
okay. I will buy it if it's 5 to 6 years. I could do that.
Right.
But then they're like, no, you can finance it for 84 months. No, I don't want to.
Yeah.
I don't want to.
Show
That
me
means
what
I
the
can't
total
afford
payment
it.
is.
That means I can't afford it.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's only 1 trillion more.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
Just go on longer. That's fine.
It's just amazing. It's
crazy.
It's crazy right now. I mean, and then I guess, you could throw that out there too. Is probably a stat where, a lot more people are probably making $100,000 a year now, but still can't buy, a house that are, because they're $1 million now.
It was something in I want to say it was the high 30s, low 40s% of people who make over $100,000 a year are living paycheck to paycheck. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's unfathomable.
Right.
You went back when I was a kid. If your parents made $100,000 a year together, you were rich.
They're driving a Corvette.
Yeah, you were rich. You had the pool, right? That was their friend who had the pool, who had
tennis
video
court, remember the
games.
tennis courts?
Yes. Because their parents made over $100,000 a year.
Yep.
Do you
Right?
think some of this, though, is because we tried to keep up with the Joneses? And so it's like you're trying to keep up with what they have, and so you're going to...
No, this is the best explanation I heard for it. It was very recently, and it's because it's the monetary policy we have. They just keep making more money.
Right.
And when you make more money, that's not how things... It's all, you have the same pizza in front of you. Making more money is like making more slices out of the pizza. Everybody gets less. Mm-hmm. That's what keeps happening. Is they're like, oh, you're hungry? Well, here, let me just cut it some more. Now there's more shares for everybody. We all get smaller and smaller because there's the goods. I mean, yes, there's more people. There's more goods. That's growing, but not at the rate that the money is.
Right.
The money has grown so fast. There's too much money out there. And so when people have all this dispendable income, then you're like, oh, well, I can charge more. I'm charging more. Well, now I got to make more. Well, now I got to charge them more so I can make more. And it's just this constant vicious cycle that keeps going up. And I don't think there's an exit ramp. I really don't. I honestly think that the people at the top know that it has to crash. It has to go through a crash to reset because it can't just keep going up and up and up. It doesn't. Otherwise, you end up with things like you got in some of those countries where their economies did collapse, where it's like a loaf of bread costs you $1 million. It's like it was Venezuela. It was not too long ago. There's videos of just piles of cash in the streets because they just made the money illegal. Did you know that they did this in India just a few years ago too? They literally, the equivalent of basically saying 20s and 100s are no longer valid. They literally eliminated 20s and 100s and went to a digital currency, and they did it in just a couple of weeks. And it crashed their economy, and it crashed their society, and they're rebuilding from it. Nobody's talking about it because they're trying to do the same thing here.
Right.
So they don't want you to know what happened, but it's the same, and they did the same thing in Venezuela too. They're trying to convert over to digital currencies, and the only way to do it is to make paper money worthless.
Right.
And in these other places, I swear, I don't know if it's test running or how it's working out, but they literally were just like I said, in India, Venezuela, they made all the money worthless. They just said, as of this day, that money is no longer valid. And people had no time to react.
Right.
And then in same type of thing in India. It was like they announced on a Friday that like Monday, 20s and 100s were no longer valid. Could you imagine that?
No.
And now, granted, in America, none of us have big piles of 20s. Well, I shouldn't say none of us, but not many of us have big piles of 20s
The
and 100s.
coffee cans in the yard that count, right?
I was about to say, you've never seen my backyard.
Right. Well, I've seen it. I just don't know where all the holes are.
Yeah. Metal detector.
But you just imagine that if all of a sudden they did.
Use plastic coffee cans.
There'd be a ton of people who would lose a ton of money.
Right.
Just like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, sorry to put on my tinfoil hat for a second.
No, but history repeats itself.
Yeah.
And we always say there's nothing new, right?
Nothing
Yep.
new
Nothing
under
new
the
on the
sun.
sun. And we're just going to repeat.
That's from Scripture.
Yep. And same things happened all the way throughout. All the way throughout. It's always been the case where, societies build up, they get big, they get bloated, and it's ridiculous to think that there are people who make more money than I do producing absolutely nothing. Right. And more money than probably all of us combined. There are people who make tons of money doing nothing. Right. I mean, they're doing something, but it's not producing anything. We've gotten to the point where someone can literally sit online and just almost do exactly what we're doing in this room. And for whatever reason, they're just, people are like, oh, I'll give them money to keep doing what they're doing. And they don't use it. Some people use it for good. Some people do not. So anyway.
Change the subject real quick.
Here we go.
So a couple weeks from now, June 11th, I will be going to a church camp. We talked about church camps earlier a little bit, but it's a foster kids church camp. And so I just wanted to bring that up because I would appreciate having some prayer warriors because we already know, we know the foster care system.
Right.
Those of us that have been in law enforcement or education, or even if you just look at what's around, these kids come from pretty rough homes, and a majority of them probably don't know who Jesus is. And so that's what I'm fixing to walk into.
It's gonna be a good time
on June 11th. Oh yeah, it's gonna be a fun week. But I would appreciate the prayers for sure. Just kind of the challenges that we're going to face and the some of the bucking up and
the patience and the grace,
Right.
yes
the forgiveness, all of it, all of it's going to be
Yeah, you're going to need it
all
all.
going to be all week.
So when y'all record that week, I won't be here, but
We'll be praying
I'll be
for
there
you for sure.
So it's gonna be a fun week though.
Yeah.
That's
excited.
something worth praying for.
It is.
And Derek's teaching for me on that Wednesday night too.
All right.
Yeah, pray for him for that too.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
He might need it more than Daniel does.
Kids, get in here and shut up.
Yeah, be quiet. You don't want to play 9 square? No.
We're going to watch a movie. You guys ever seen the 10 Commandments with Charlton Heston?
Right.
Well, you have now. So now.
But they.
I used to do it when I was at the church in Arizona.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. Yep. I had a youth group.
Yeah.
Yep.
Did you take them to the Greenbelt?
Yeah. We had a green belt in front of because at that time we were meeting at an office complex that, it was like a 2-story office complex, but we had the lower level, but there was a green belt in the front. So, yes.
Don't make me send you out to the Greenbelt.
Yep.
That's great. So.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, do we got any final thoughts? We're approaching 2 hours here pretty quick.
Wow.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, for nothing.
We're about like an hour 40, probably an hour 45 in right now.
Hey, did you remember to hit record on this one?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
I'll have a final quote when you guys are ready.
Well, we're ready.
Well, give me a second. I got to find it.
I thought you said you were ready.
You said you would have it when we were ready.
Yeah.
I thought we were ready.
Well, it wasn't in my iPad.
You know, I did actually, one thing that, and I will apologize to our listener, who we actually did have a listener write in.
Yes.
And we got some questions, and we are going to cover them.
We are.
I wanted to make sure that I got time to give them to everybody and give you guys a little time to think about how you want to answer these questions. So I actually did print them out. I can't remember if I left them here. I got them in my folder. I'll make sure you get them, and make sure. So thank you for writing in, and we will be answering your questions next episode. I think.
We got a couple questions I think we got to go through, and you know, and that's why we kind of wanted to give tonight, saying, hey, this is where we've been, this is what we've going through, this is what we've done, and now we're back, and so then we want to go through those questions, and hopefully we can answer them.
Yep. Right.
Hopefully we can answer.
Encourage other people too. If you have questions, if you have a topic you want us to cover, please write in. You can send it into. I know I had it. It was Ray at Spiritual Debriefing. That will work, but I also created another email address that links to the same too, to make it less like it's all about me.
So you have you have two email addresses now?
No, one's actually a dummy email address. Just makes it look like it's not my name. I can't remember what they call it, but it's one of the things they let you do.
We make fun of Ray one time, and now he goes, oh.
Did he just say he made me an email address? A dummy?
Yes, a dummy. I made the dummy an email address.
Thanks, Ray.
And that was Derek.
Well, for now, you can submit it to Ray at spiritualdebriefing.com, and I'll figure out what the other one is, and I'll maybe put it in the comments, or you can just write in the comments. We do get the notifications for those too. So, I guess I don't know if it works if they write them in on like iTunes or iHeartRadio or all the other podcast sites. I don't know how that works.
I don't know either.
Yeah. And you can also find us on Rumble, which is, we're actually getting some viewers on there.
Rumble.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah. Hitting that, conservative Christian version of
Yep.
YouTube. Hit that up, see what happens there.
I'm just glad we're all back now and charge forward. That's all we can do, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Charge. Okay.
Oh, you're ready now?
Yeah, I'm ready. I found it. God did not promise days without pain, laughter without sorrow, nor sun without rain, but he did promise strength for the days, comfort for the tears, and light for the way.
Yeah.
He did. He does.
Yep.
Yeah. We're never alone. He'll never abandon you.
Nope.
And even like you said, we have a breaking point. You can only take so much. And when you get to that point, we know there's only one thing to do, and it's give everything else to God.
And he knows you by name.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Another thing I said this morning, because I was talking to my friend and we were going about something, and he said, I don't know if yet I believe God pays attention to everything. I said, he knows how many hairs are on your head right now.
Yep.
He pays attention to everything. It doesn't mean he does everything. He doesn't step in. He's not up there a puppet master pulling every string. I mean, he can if he wants, but that's not how he leads our lives. He knows what we're going to do. He knows how it's going to turn out. We have the free will to make the choices, but he knows what we're going to pick. It's almost like when you let your kid pick, what they're going to drink for soda. You know what they're going to pick, even though they sit there and they take 10 minutes. It's like you always pick root beer.
Right.
Just pick the root beer.
Yeah. I was going to say root beer. Yeah.
Well, since you brought that up, I'll throw another one in.
I don't know what that's like.
So if you don't think nobody cares if you're alive, try missing a couple car payments.
Man, that was.
You brought it up. So
Somebody cares. That's funny.
But no, that's what amazes me is that, like you said, every hair on your head.
Yeah.
And he knows my name. The all-powerful, mighty God knows my name.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You think about that for a second, you're just like, wow. Mm-hmm. Like you said, my servant. Joe, my servant. That's good.
Good stuff.
Mm-hmm. It is.
He knows how many of those hairs are turning white, too.
He knows how many I'm losing, too. So.
Most of mine are white.
Lucky you.
That's
I
just
got a
distinguished.
few.
I'm not taking my hat off, no.
Yeah, I'm happy just to be keeping mine so far. So stick with that.
Derek only has a few hairs.
Right?
They're just flowing down onto his face.
Yep.
Wyatt's picking it up, right?
Oh, he's so
he
proud.
can take walks with us now. See? So, yeah, he's up there.
Well, that was a good one, boys.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
We'll hit it again.
Well, hey,
Yeah.
let's close on a word of prayer.
Let's do so. Let's do so.
Father, we thank you just for the time that we get to spend together, God, discussing things that you've laid on our heart. And we just ask that you help us to reach people, God, and to love people where they're at. God, we know that everything that happens happens for the good according to those who are called by you, God. So we just ask that you help us to understand your purpose and your will in all things. Father, we love you. We thank you. In your name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you for listening to Spiritual Debriefing, a podcast supported by First Baptist Church Hiwasse. Please like and subscribe to the podcast so you can be notified when we post new episodes, as well as check out our past episodes. We'll be posting new podcasts every other Thursday. You can follow us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. If you have questions you'd like us to answer, comments, or feedback on the podcast, please contact us through our social media or email us at dmeadows@fbchiwasse.com. Thank you, and we hope God blesses your day.